Hi everyone, this is Lady Manual again with the first 9 weeks exam review. And this is my second video that I'm making. I'll make some more, trying to make them shorter, but okay. But here we go, let me go. I can't go real fast, guys, because I'm trying to make sure I'm explaining it very clear. But of course, remember, you can always pause, rewind. Always pause and rewind to make sure you understand it. Sometimes, like I'm showing this now, you may want to try to pause it and see if you figure it out before I explain it. Okay, so here we go. Function F is a graph below. You're just telling me this, so I really don't need that. Okay, so here's my graph, and I'm going to look at this. I noticed here that I got a dark circle and an open circle. Okay, I know for, let me put it over here, dark circle, I know it's either greater than or equals, less than or equal symbol. Okay, that's for dark circles or closed circle. Open circle, either going to be greater than or less than. Okay, we know that. So here we go. It's a, what is the range? Okay, the range. Let's talk about the Y. So I'm looking here at the Y. The limits, you know, where is it the boundary for the Y? What is the boundary for the Y? So what I would do, I would go ahead and put the order pair there. I said, okay, where is this open circle at? Where's this closed circle at? Where is it? Okay, so I would go here and I say, okay, go over. That's 4. That's 4 for my X. Okay, that's 4 for the X. And for my Y, it's 3. Okay, here for my X, my Y. Here with the closed circle, I'll go over, that's -2. So I know it's -2. And then my Y is -3. Okay. So now once I have that, I know that for my X, which is, they are not asking me for that. Okay. And this is another thing. Remember that our X is the domain. Okay. And Y is the range. So I'm going to go ahead and do it for the domain and the range. And keep in mind, when you're doing domain and range and you got boundaries, the small number go to the left, the large to the right. Small, so here, the small number is -2 for X. The large is 4. Okay. Here for the Y, the small number is -3. Remember, negative numbers are always smaller than the positive. And the large for the Y is a +3. Also, the inequality has to go the same direction. When it's in order, you got the small one to the left, then your inequality is going to point to the left. For domain and range, it's going to point to the left. They can't go opposite directions. One can't point to the left and the other to the right. You can't do that. It really, when you read it, it wouldn't make sense. Okay? So now I'm going to go and look, and I'm going to say with -2, I got a dark for X. It's dark, that means it's included in these equal sign under it. Okay. For the Y, -3, equal sign. Here for the X, the 4, that's open, because it's open circle, so this is good. Open, good. So now I can go and look at what they gave me. And you probably say, but you didn't put all the other information. It's okay, I got the main ideal. Okay. You don't have to pay attention to this part. You can just cross that out. You don't have to focus on that. Okay. You don't have to focus on this. Focus on the main ideal. Okay, the main ideal. The other one is what I call, it can make it a complete mathematical sentence. Okay, so now I'm going to go to -2 for my X. And if you look, I'm going to divide it. Okay, this is my X, and then those are my Y. Remember, we're looking for range. Okay, and let me do this. Let me highlight this so we can remember colon it, so we can know green is our solution. The green is the solution. Okay, so here, this is my X. They didn't ask me for it. They didn't ask me for it. If they did, this right here would be my domain. That's my domain. This is trying to confuse me with the sign. So neither one of this is not my answer. This is not my answer. Because they asked me what is the range. Okay, but I know those the domain. So I could have eliminated that anyway. I didn't have to do that, but I'm trying to review you guys over certain things. So domain is out of the question. The answer between C and D. So I got -3, -3. Good. 3, 3, 3. Here it should be the dark circle was with -3, not +3. So I know that because of this, D is my solution, not this, because it's trying to trick me. So sometimes it's good to go ahead and write your information down, then go and look at your answer choices. And sometimes the other way around, because they're going to try to trick you. Okay? Always remember, when someone gives you an answer, they're trying to trick you. So you can go back and rewind this, pause it, and review yourself over domain and range when you have boundaries. Okay? When you have boundaries. Okay. So here we go. Go to number 7. Number 7. It said a teacher would determine the total number of books to order for a class using the function B of n equals 4 of n. Okay, you know what I'm going to do? You know I want to make a table. You're supposed to say, you don't even need a table. Okay. Okay. I know this is B of n, which is y. And y is my dependent. Okay. I know this is n. This is the number of book, which is my x, which is my independent. Okay, cool. Now let me finish reading. A teacher will determine the total number of books to order for a class using the function B of n equals 4 of n, where n represents the number of students. Okay? Number of students. Well, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to write it right here. Number of students. Okay? Then it says that, what is the independent quantity? And this right here is total books. I need to write that down. Total books. Total number of books. Okay. Here we go. So now, this is what I'm going to go. Is what is the independent? Independent. Independent. You notice I'm using pink. Remember female, X chromosome? Okay. So independent, we already know is the X. Okay. So now let me read the answer choice. The number of students in the class. The number of students in the class. Number of students in the class. That is my X or my N. So I'm putting X so I can know that's my X. So that's probably my answer. The total number of books. That's Y. That's dependent. They trying to trick me. Okay. The number of books each student need. Did they say anything about each student? The teacher will determine the number of books to order for a class using the function blah blah blah, where N represents the number of students. They said nobody know each student. It confused me. So here, independent, number of student class. F is my answer. Not here. Okay. You see, I wrote down the information. I took information from here and put it in the table so that I can understand what I'm looking at or what they gave me. Okay. So here, going to the next one. Let's go to number 8. Number 8. A print shop. Okay, a print shop charges a fixed amount. Okay, per photocopy. Okay, a fixed amount per photocopy, and gives a 10% discount off the total cost of the photocopies. Okay. I know, right? Let me put my X, my Y. This is my independent. Or you can say domain. This is my dependent. Okay. So we say, okay, let me read again. A print shop charges a fixed amount per photocopy and gives a 10% discount off the total cost of the photocopies. The total cost is a function. Okay, so this is the total cost. Yes, the total cost is a function of the number of photocopies. Okay? Number of copies. You see what I did? The total cost is a function of. So I know this is a function of that. This total cost depends on the number of copies. So if I know what is depending, then I know what my independent variable is. I know it's going to be the number of copies. And so what is the independent quantity? And again, independent. Okay? Independent. So here, the total cost, that's dependent. Really? Dependent. That's my Y. So it's not that. The price per photocopy. The price per. What they got to do with anything? That's what what this got to do. Really? Y'all really trying to get me. Okay? Because if I stay focused, because if you go to think about something else, you may choose this choice. But if you read what it gave you, what the equation or the problem gave you, the scenario gave you, you should be okay. The amount of the discount, okay? That's just going to help me. The price, B and C, helps me to determine the total cost. But at the same time, we are not going to split all that up. You can't split it all up. Okay? So this is the total number of photocopies made. The total number, that's my independent. Okay? So it'll be D. Okay? That's my X. That's where sometime before you start reading your answer choice, you need to, whatever you're understanding from your scenario, write it down. Write it down. Number 9. Which set of order pairs represent Y as a function of X? Okay, patterns. So I'm looking for a pattern. That's what I'm looking for. A pattern. So this is what I would tell you. Some of the information, I make tables for all of them. I probably would, I put X, Y, and I put A there. And then I go through and say, okay, negative 9, 2, 0, 6, 1, negative 2, negative 3, 6. Is there any pattern? Because this, when I have it in the table, to me, it's easier to see the pattern. It say Y as a function of X. So what is it depending? Do you see any pattern? Then you just go, you write B. Don't panic. Just go put X, Y, and then just put negative 1, 0. And when you're doing this too, if you got anything that's repeating, then you know. You can't have that. Negative 1, 0, 4, 3, negative 7, negative 3, negative 1, negative 8. Uh-oh. Ding, ding. Negative 1, negative 1. It said which one is a function. And I put pattern there because I look for pattern, but it said function. I shouldn't have nothing repeating. So you may say, once you realize that, you'll be like, well, okay, I don't necessarily need a pattern there because I can focus on this repeat for the X. Because functions, the X can only, it can't repeat in this case, or it can only have one Y. But in this case, negative 1 is with 0 and negative 1 is with negative 8. So some of you, if you're doing your mapping, you may like the mapping better. Okay? Oh, you not want some paper. Because if you have the mapping, you would have negative 1 going to 0 and you would have negative 1 going to negative 8. Okay? So then I'm like, oh, that's repeating. That's repeating. You can't repeat. And I'm going to go ahead and highlight negative 1, negative 1. Really? That's a no-no. Look, that's a no-no. Not a function. This is not a function. Not a function. Okay. So do the same thing for C. If you're doing C, X, Y. 3, 2, negative 4, negative 2, 3, 1. So there you go again. 3 and 3. That's repeating, not a function. And look, my pattern is I should have no X repeating. It's not a function. So here the same thing with D. Now A, you notice it was nothing repeating. So now I'm on a hunt for repeating X values. So I'm like, that's a 5. Okay, 2, 1, 2. Oh, 2 and 2. Not a function. And you be like, you didn't need the table. No, once you realize if you don't need it, it's okay to stop. Or you continue. Or you can do mapping. So that's not a function. So the only one that is a function is A. Okay. So you be like, oh, I didn't need patterns. In that case, no, you didn't. I like patterns. Okay. So here we go. Go to number 10. And you probably, you go through all the answer choices. Well, yes, if you're trying to get something right and it's helping me to think, yes, I'm going to do that. Okay, here we go. A family would travel 350 miles from their house in order to reach Dallas, Texas. Okay. 350 miles to Dallas. Okay, I'm going to put 350 miles. I holler that. To Dallas. So that tells me they don't live in Dallas. Okay. It said which inequality can be used to find all possible values of T. The time it would take this family to reach Dallas in hours if they travel at an average speed of at least 4 miles per hour. Okay. So now you're thinking like, okay, we got 350 miles and I want to know what time. So isn't time, distance, I'm putting time, is time distance divided by speed? So your time is going to be your distance divided by, and you probably say, you're not, and I'm putting distance. I know, sweeties. I'm putting distance, and I'm putting speed. Your average speed. And T is for time. Because then if you want to know how long it's going to take you, what is the distance, how fast you been going. And that'll tell me about how many. Okay? So I know that's my time. So they got the T. And for distance, they're using R for miles per hour. R, the average speed of at least R miles per hour. So they're talking about average speed. Okay? If they're traveling at an average speed of at least R miles per hour. Okay. So distant. With distant is divided by speed, but yeah, they wrote theirs differently. Now, you guys, you know this R square is at the question. And you probably say, you're not even paying attention to those inequalities. And no, I'm not right now. Okay? I'm not. Because I'm thinking that my speed here, that's going to be my average speed of at least R miles per hour. So how fast I'm going is my R. Okay? Isn't it? 350 miles. Okay? So my speed is my R. So now, you know your speed. Your speed is going to be here. So really, you don't have nothing but one choice. Okay? So you just really have one choice there. And your one choice would be H, because R, your speed divided by the distance. So if I'm going 65 miles, then I'm going to divide it by 350. That doesn't make sense to me. So if my speed is 65 miles per hour, and I got 300, that doesn't make sense. Does it to you? Not to me. Okay? So that would be out the question to me. So now if I have here 350 divided by 65, want to tell you how many hours? Because I got my 300 miles and it tell me such per hour. And here you're just multiplying it. That doesn't make sense at all. And notice I didn't even pay attention to the inequalities unless they was the same. Then you just reason through it. So it will have to be H, because this just doesn't make sense. You dividing your speed. You dividing your speed by the miles. What do they give you? Okay, so use that common sense there. Make sure you use that common sense to get your help there. Okay. So here we go, moving right along. So that was number 10. Let's do number 11 and 12. Okay. And some of you be like, well, we had never done these type of problems before. Because some of the problems you probably done when you was in middle school or even elementary. But if you think about all we're doing is thinking and reasoning through it, because they gave you the answer, you'll be fine with it. Okay, so the volume of two identical cubes is related to the edge length of the volume. Remember, the volume is B equals the sides to the third power. So you may have seen as V equals side times side times side, which is the same thing. You just multiply the three sides to get the volume. Okay? And it's two identical. It's two of them. It's two, not just one. Okay? So my thing is, here it said the volume of two identical cubes is related to the edge of the length of the cube. Okay? So that's telling me everything is X. Which function represents the combined volume? So they want to know both. So if I just did one volume and I know it's X, then I know I'm going to do, I know here for this one, the volume will be X times X times X, which B equals X to the third. Because X times X, that's 3. Okay. And the same for this one. Times X times X. So B equals X to the third. So I have an X third here and an X third here. So I know that if I combine these together, if I have here for both of them, I will have X to the third plus X to the third. How many I have? I have 1 here, 1 here. So 1 plus 1 is 2. 2 what? 2x to the third. So I go and look, and I say, okay, y equals 2x to the third. And you probably, and look, they're going to try to get you guys on here. And they're going to try to get you on here because you just get 1. This is for 1. That's for 1 cube, okay? That's why sometimes it's good to just go through and work it out. Here, they got x squared. What? This is for area, not volume. Okay. Then with the 8, they're trying to be sneaky because they said 2. The combined, because the 2, they're trying to make you say 2 to the power of 3, x to the third. And that's where that 8 coming from, and you can't do that. Because it's 1, 2. It's not 8 of these. It's just 2 of them. So don't get tricked. Okay. Number 12. What is the range? What is the range? The range. And you notice I'm just going on and the range. And I'm going to write range for f of x, which is your dependent. And x is the domain, which is your independent. What is the range of the function shown below? Okay. Notice when something jump out, I take care of it then. You should. Okay. So here we got -7, -2, 0, 5. That's the domain. I'm looking for the range. So that's the domain. They trying to trick me. Then -9, -4, -1. This is the range. And that's what they asked me for. So I know it's going to be that. But I'm going to go all combined again. Negative. Oh, this is the domain and range. We don't write it like this. Okay? We don't do this. And then -1. I don't know what's going on with them. They just threw something in there. They say, hey, choose this. Don't get tricked, guys. When they give you multiple choice, they're giving you the answer. So reason through it. You need more common sense than book sense for this, okay? So use those reasoning skills that you have, that you learned from home. You learned it from home, okay? So guys, I'm going to end this part 2, and I will make you another part. Have a great day. Love you.